सबका ना अपना अपना एक पैशन होता है. For me, it's always been connecting with people. बचपन से शौक था बातें करने का और लोगों से जुड़ने का. It's a very interesting way in which I found out about this actually. When I was young, I used to tutor my juniors. Actually, pocket money banani thi. Okay, I had to at some point support my family for an extra income. लेकिन one thing led to another जहाँ पर मुझे पता चला कि how deeply I can connect with people. वो बच्चे जिनको मैंने इंग्लिश के ट्यूशन्स दिए, आज कोई फ्रांस में है, कोई डॉक्टर बना है, सबकी शादियों में मैं गई हूँ. And oh my God, we're still in touch even today. And I think that that's where it began. The desire to get in touch with people, to get to know them, and if I can, of course, impact their life in a better way. Eventually, radio par naukri mil gayi, a job where I get to interact with so many people, and at times, even help them. Kyunki ye platform jo hai radio ka, kamal ka hai. And it's amazing how my passion of connecting with people led me to this. Hi, my name is Rohini Ramanathan, and you're listening to yet another episode of the SBI Life अपने लिए अपनों के लिए Real Life Podcast. यहाँ पर हम लोगों से बात करते हैं जिन्होंने अपने सपने तो पूरे किए ही, लेकिन साथ ही साथ they took care of those around them as well. These are real stories from real Bharat. हमारी आज की जो गेस्ट हैं, she's also done something similar. Lived her dream while living the dream of those near and dear to her. आपने इनको टेलीविजन पर देखा होगा, स्टेज पर देखा होगा, या फिर यूट्यूब पर उनको फॉलो करते होंगे. She is one multi-talented woman, an actor across theatre, movies and OTT, a poet and a singer, Spruha Joshi. Welcome to the show, Spruha.
Thank you so much. किती छान introduction होते.
मी नाही लिहिलंय. यांनी मला लिहून दिलंय.
So thank you guys.
Really, this team is wonderful. But Spruha, I meant every word I said, because even though lihun alele introduction, I obviously have had the pleasure, the privilege of knowing you. I remember I was doing a radio show once and you had come in for an interview and I insisted that you drop into my studio. And we spoke for a little while because I was just, I was always fascinated by the multifaceted personality that you were. So I'd like to start off this conversation saying, this is a podcast called Apne Liye Apno Ke Liye Stories. So my first question, to you is, what do you do that is Apne Liye? What is it that Spruha is passionate about?
You know what? I am the most passionate and I'm the most happiest when I'm acting, honestly. So that's why I actually started my career in acting, when I realized that there is nothing else that I can, do in a better way than acting. So it's my passion and I'm so glad that I could turn my hobby into my occupation.
Absolutely.
So I think that's my thing. I mean, I love when I'm performing on stage, I'm anchoring or I am, doing something in front of the camera, I'm the happiest.
That's fantastic. Let's rewind a little, Spruha, and let's talk about the early days. What was Spruha Joshi doing before she became an actor, before she discovered this passion?
I was a very, very first bencher, like a very clever student in my school. So always above 90% and everything. So my mom and dad had a very wrong idea about what their child is going to be in the future. They always wished that I would be a doctor or an engineer, just like a normal middle class family. Then once I told them that I'm not going to pursue science because I don't understand anything in science or in maths, so I'm not going to take the science stream. They were still fine with it, me saying that I'm going to, study or pursue arts as my stream and doing BA for my graduation. But then my father told me that whatever it is you have to do, you have to excel in whatever you do. So he told me that your goal should be start planning for UPSC from now on. I was in 10th at that time. And I said, all right, if I'm not going to science, I'm fine with anything and everything you say to me right now. So I said, okay. Then I started my studies in Ruia College in Matunga. Okay. And then there is this whole tradition of theatre and many, many artists belong from Ruia. So I came into contact with many of them and then it just changed my whole perspective about things. I was working as a child actor, by the way, even before Ruia. But then that was always a hobby and I never thought that it would be my career. But still, it's somewhere down the line I felt कि यार कुछ है, कुछ मैं कर सकती हूँ ये फील्ड में. But I agreed with my father. I started studying for UPSC. I was planning to give UPSC, but then one day I told him कि नहीं, I want to pursue. I want to give myself a chance and want to become an actor.
And wow, as they say that when the doors open or when the actor is ready, the stage appears, right? और बिल्कुल ऐसे ही हुआ आपके साथ भी. Let me talk to you about that first moment, perhaps, where acting actually came to you. Were you already interested in acting because you were a child actor? How did that leap happen? Because I come from St. Xavier's College myself, जहाँ पर मल्हार ये फेस्टिवल होता है और मल्हार में हम सबके ऐसे अंदर की इच्छाएं जो हैं फूट कर बाहर आती है, talents come out. I think Ruya is also that fertile ground, right, where you have the opportunities. Do you remember that first production that you were part of?
So when I joined Ruya, I saw this audition board that those who are interested in the theatre activities, theatre scenes, whatever is going on right now in Mumbai, please do come for the auditions. And I was instantly captivated and I said, yes, I have to go for this audition. And I went there and I got my first play in my first year of my junior college. It was called Gama Bhala. It was based on famous novel by Milind Bokil. It was called Shala. And then if you can remember, you have a film also, which was later made on that same novel. But in that one act play, I played the lead part, lead female act. And although it was a very small role, but I got a huge recognition for that. And you won't believe it has been almost 15 years since I've passed out of the college actually now. But people still message me. They have this small clip on YouTube of this play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so they keep on messaging me, ki, Arre, we saw your one act play. Was that really your first performance? And it feels like, wow, what a beginning. I mean, now when I look back, I feel like it was the ideal beginning one could have, because for the budding artists from Mumbai or from Pune, one act plays is the basic thing which you can do.
Correct, absolutely.
And actually that one act play gave me my first movie with Gajendra Ahire sir. Because he's in one of the shows of Gamavan.
This is amazing. This is truly the story of ये इस पर किताबें लिखी जा सकती हैं कि this is how my... Yeah, it's amazing. It's a fairy tale story. That's what I would say. But let's come back to that UPSC bit, which I find very interesting. Father was like, you have to do UPSC. And then you started studying as well. Yeah. And there's that negotiation that we would do with our fathers, right? I had to negotiate my way out of science as well. And I had the opportunity. Yes, it's the same. And I'm a Matunga girl. You're also a Matunga Dadar, college. You went to college in Matunga and Dadar as well. But I remember that negotiation with our fathers, and it's amazing how both our fathers wanted us, or they believed that we are going to do this really, really well. We're going to be this padhai ki murtis. And of course, how was that negotiation like? Were they supportive immediately?
No.
Did you have to say no? How did you convince them?
He could have had heart attack probably. And when I mailed him, I still remember, I had recently started using
1 second. You mailed your father?
Yes, I did. And I have never said this before on any show. This is the first time I'm telling you this.
Thank you.
I'm telling you, I was so scared of standing in front of him and, talking these things out loud in front of him that I thought, शायद मैं बोल ही ना पाऊं उनके सामने जाऊंगी. Because he was so invested into it. He was really, really invested. And my blunder was मतलब final का जो वो hall ticket के लिए जो भरना पड़ता ना, वही मैंने नहीं किया. Just before the exam, and it was a bomb. I had been studying for 2 years. I didn't do my postgrad because I told him मुझे UPSC के लिए study करना है.
Correct.
And then I, suddenly broke this news into my house. Then he was like, hey, but why? I mean, then he also tried to tell me that I am not practically a heroine material. So he was like, hey, what roles are you going to get? Are you going to be happy if somebody treats you as a sidekick? Or are you going to... So he said that I know that you are a good actor, but does that really count? Failed, actually.
It comes from a place of concern.
Yeah, of course. वो time तक. So I told him, let me just at least try my hand. देखते तो हैं क्या होता है. And if then I feel कि नहीं हो रहा है मुझसे, तो I'll be very honest with you, like always. I'll come to you and UPSC to matlab kya, you can do the UPSC ka studies and you can give the exam till you're 30, 35. So that's okay. And he said, all right, I'm ready to give you that chance. And but then post that, I have to say this, but he is one of my most favorite critique and my most amazing
Cheerleader.
cheerleader.
Amazing. How lovely. I love father-daughter stories. I have a
Yeah.
special corner in my heart for these. Let's talk about apne. Jo hamare apne hai. Spruha, tell us something about your family. We've spoken a little bit about your father. But
Yes.
I also know that your sister is a gymnast who represented India in the Commonwealth Games. So my basic question is this. इतकं टॅलेंट कुठून हे जोशी फॅमिलीमध्ये आलं? Where did so much talent come from? Like, is each of you, like, gifted in a certain way?
I think it's all, I mean, every small bit, whatever we have been able to achieve till date, I think it's all because of our parents, Ai Baba. And both of us, we are very different from each other in every aspect. So our hobbies are different, our thinking processes are different, basic lifestyles are different. And I don't know how, but for both of us, they use different kind of methods in parenting, I suppose. And I was a sportsman, so I used to play gymnastics before.
Yes,
And then
of course.
Shipra saw that, and Shipra used to come to my practice. And then she told my mother and father that I want to do this. She was 5 at that time.
Wow.
And the main difference between the both of us is I kept on quitting the games. I kept on changing my, hobbies, or I kept on finding myself. But she stuck to it and she's still doing the same thing. That's the major difference. I think the career which she has, I mean, the goals which she has conquered, it's amazing. It's amazing because she's been the Commonwealth Games में India का captain of the rhythmic gymnastics team. She has a Guinness World Record in her name. She has a national gymnastics record on her name. And then if you meet her, जब तक आप सामने से बोलोगे नहीं, आपको कोई आके नहीं बताएगा ना, you won't be able to even feel कि ये इतना कुछ करके गई है लड़की अपने इस career में.
How beautiful. When you have such accomplished daughters, one is an artist, the other is a sports person or a gymnast, I can just imagine the sort of fostering or the environment in the house. Also, this is great for, girls who are listening in, कि अगर घर में, you have a conducive environment, girls can truly go on to, at the end of the day, achieve all of their dreams. I'm going to take it back to you at this point. Let's talk about the fact that you do so much. I know that when you're not acting, you're still creating. You're a creator. I mean, I follow your YouTube channel, and what I love about it is your consistency. There's always a message. There's you, of course, so there's an entire fan base that follows you because of the movies. Let's talk about Spruha, who's not on camera. When she's off camera, Spruha, this need to create always existed, right?
Yeah, it did. It did from the very beginning. And I'm like, I'm like this person who won't stop at one thing and who will try and create interests in different aspects of life. So I love to do many things. So I told you that acting is my passion, but I love to travel. I love to read. I love to write. I love to explore poetry. I love listening to good music. I love to sing. I love to meet people, talk to them. So I think all these things somewhere go hand in hand when I'm creating, when I'm a creator. But then you have met me when the camera is off and when the mic is off. So that's who I am, basically. I love to meet people.
That's lovely. It's a very, very rare quality. Not everybody is like this. And I hope you know that. So you are special.
Thank you.
Do your acting schedules, though, give you enough me time? What is it that you do in your own time?
Can I be very, very honest about
Always,
it?
please. Maza podcast for only honesty. This should be called the Honest Podcast.
Lovely. I sleep.
I love it. An honest girl who says, I eat carbs and I sleep. The I eat carbs is me. And then I sleep.
I sleep. I love to sleep. And many people find it very hard to believe that that could also be a hobby.
Sleeping is my hobby. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I am at home, see, I like to do a couple of things here and there. So I'll be reading, I'll be watching a web series, I'll be watching something, a film which a friend has suggested, or listening to a podcast or something like that. But then there comes a point when I realize I need to sleep. And please, that's my me time. Whenever I'm home, I am a very typical Punekar probably in that sense कि 1 से 4 के बीच में दुकान बंद रहता है.
1 ते 4
दुकान बंद असतं, आमची कुठेही शाखा नाही. So I am that person when I am not shooting or I'm not, performing somewhere. I just love to sleep.
That is amazing. I'm going to ask you a question that was not originally on my list of questions to ask you, but I must. I'm a huge fan of the poetry that you write. And I think that is one of your most beautiful sides. Because most actors, they line bolta. Like, somebody else writes the lines and you are at the end of the day acting out somebody else's writing. But you have a unique, spark in you, which makes you write, makes you create. And I feel like there's a dearth of women's literature anyway. So can you read out to me perhaps something that you wrote?
I'll just tell me how do you found it, okay? It's a small couplet. अधीर श्रावण मनात पैंजण उनाड वाहे वारा. अधीर श्रावण मनात पैंजण उनाड वाहे वारा. आठव येता तुझी बांधवा देह सावळा सारा.
Beautiful. Do you want to translate it for my audience who may not know Marathi?
So it is about Radha Krishna and it is about the rains and how just the feeling of Krishna turns the body of Radha, the physical appearance of Radha into this bluish color or bluish shade.
What a thought. This is so beautiful. Guys, if you want more poetry like this and women writing poetry, please do subscribe to Spruha's channel. It's on YouTube. Let me ask you a question, which is, why is it that you do what you do? And you do a lot. So, is there a story that you want to tell us a little bit about तुम अपनों के लिए और अपनों के लिए क्या करते हो?
Basically, I can't sit at one place, as I told you. Mm-hmm. So, and also this appreciation of poetry comes from my family. And I know that when I am narrating a poem or anything which I have written, I can see that proud feeling on my mother and father's faces, or my sister's face, or my husband's face. So many of the things which I do, back of the mind, I'm waiting for that smile, कि कब वो देखेंगे और कब उनके चेहरे पे मुझे वो एक छोटी सी स्माइल देखने को मिलेगी. So that's why, when you said कि अपनों के लिए, that's my a little ode to them, I feel. कि acting is my passion, but I am here because of them.
Nice. This is amazing. I love the fact that this is a different sort of chat that we're doing, right? People have mostly spoken to you for your acting work. And it's so crazy that I'm speaking to you and we're not mentioning any of the great work that you've done. So I apologize for that. Lekin of course, you can see Spruha doing some absolutely phenomenal work. In fact, this is quite an interesting year because there are releases lined up and you were fantastic in Atkan Satkan. It was such a great film. I have to tell, this as an in-person, I'll tell you whenever we meet again. So, acting aside, this is why I am talking to you today because we never get to talk about this side. Normally, actors usually अपने promotionals में अपने फिल्मों की बात करेंगे, अपने process की बात करेंगे, कितना मजा आया set पर उसकी बात करेंगे. लेकिन ये जो वक्त हमें आज मिला है, okay, thanks to this podcast, I truly cherish it because, here we are talking about the real Spruha Joshi, which I think is very lovely. Before I go, of course, I want to ask you to leave my listeners with a message. What is it that you want to leave them with? What is that one thought that you want to leave either women or anyone who's listening in with?
Just a couple of months ago, I did this lovely short film called Rinti. Mm-hmm. It's not released yet, but it is based on the life of Rinti Banerjee, and I was fortunate enough to play her character. She is one of the very, very promising women scientists that we had, mm-hmm. and she passed away due to COVID. Okay, but the work, the magnitude of work that she has created, it's beyond my imagination. And she had this quote, which I'm not able to forget since the day we shot that film. It was, let's figure it out. And that's been my motto since then. And I think that's the answer to most of the questions in your life. that whatever happens, let's figure it out. Let's not just stop over there. कुछ ना कुछ तो solution निकलेगा. Let's figure it out. Let's just be patient to ourselves and, around people around us. That's all we can do right now.
Let's figure it out. Yes. And that's what we said when we said, let's do this chat. Thank you, Spruha. Thank you for being so authentic with whatever it is that you put out, whether it's on screen, whether it's your own writing, whether it's any of these things that you like to do. There is an audience, we're watching, and we're obviously very inspired. So continue this great path that you're on. And thank you so much for dropping in on the podcast. I hope it was fun for you.
It was so much fun. So fun.
Thank you. Oh my God, that was such a heartwarming chat, wasn't it? Elder sister, popular actor, younger sister, gymnast, father being the source of their inspiration. किसी ना किसी को तो इन पे भी एक दंगल टाइप की मूवी बनानी ही चाहिए. क्या बोलते हो? You know what touched me deeply is while having this conversation with Spruha, she said on some level she's doing this to fulfill her father's dreams of once wanting to become an actor. I think this is so deep and this is so true. कभी-कभी हम ये realize भी नहीं करते, but there are things that we do that make those around us extremely happy and they get to live vicariously through us. This podcast is brought to you by SBI Life Insurance Company Limited. For more details, please log on to sbilife.co.in/podcasts. IRDAI registration number 111.